Hello there, Pisces. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot video forecast. This forecast is for the week of April I almost said the 48th, April the 18th through the 24th. We are going to be pulling one card for each day. And so that way we'll check the highlight for each day and then we'll see if there's any kind of theme that flows through the week. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. We'll just see what shows up. I do want to remind everybody while I'm shuffling, this is a general reading for the collective of who am I looking with? Pisces. And so, not everything that I find here is going to apply to every single Pisces. However, most of it should apply to most of you. If you want to get a private reading where I look only at your energy specifically, you can find all my contact information and you can find out about all the other stuff I do too on the website right there by my head, that amista.info. That is the correct address. People try to add a .com in there somewhere. And .com, if you throw that in there on my website, that's not going to get you where you want to go. You literally just want amista.info. Okay, let's take a peek at what you have, Pisces. So we're starting with the weekend. And the very first card we have coming up is the King of Wands. Look at him holding his head there. He reminds me of my father-in-law from my first marriage. I was in my 20s at that time, and he was an older parent, so he was already like bumping close to 60, if not at 60. And if we would say something, if us kids would say something that would get him, uh, he would always be like this. He would just say, "You kids are giving me a headache." So if we would ask him a question, that would be his answer. That's what this king makes me think of. It makes me think of my father-in-law from my first marriage, Dwayne. So that's interesting. That's our Saturday card. Now, Sunday, we have the Magician showing up here. Okay, so here's the thing. I read these cards psychically, so sometimes the psychic meaning has nothing to do with the book meaning. And I am going to tell you, I really think with this King of Wands showing up here with this guy holding his head like this, I think there's somebody that you're just going to be like, what the heck are they doing now? Man, they're giving me a headache. I have a stress headache from just thinking about the crazy shenanigans they're pulling. Okay. We're not going to try to guess who that might be. I have a couple ideas running through my brain. I'm not even going to put those out there. But anyway, there may be somebody that has you just like frustrated and maybe even a little overwhelmed with just how crazy stunts they can pull without even really feeling like they're doing anything crazy. Now, looking at Sunday, we have the Magician. The Magician is our master manifester. So this tells me that you're taking the things that you have at hand and you're turning those things into whatever it is that you want. Now, like the most mundane example I can think of this is, if you have eggs and flour and sugar, etc., you can make a cake. You're taking what you have at hand and you're making what you want. Maybe you're making a cake. Maybe you're making beef and noodles sound good. Maybe you're making beef and noodles. I don't know. Maybe you're manifesting something much bigger than just a little bit of food. That could be too. And you're out there just doing the thing to make it happen when that magician shows up. Putting in the elbow grease. All right, so let's look at the cards for the week and let's come back and talk about them after we run through them more quickly. So Monday we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Tuesday. Star card in reverse. That's going to be interesting. Wednesday, Hanged Man. That makes sense after Tuesday. And Thursday. Huh. Emperor in reverse. That kind of makes sense after a hanged man, too. All right. And Friday. Two of Pentacles in reverse. Now, we just did almost all reversals. 4 out of 5 of those for the week are reversals. So here's what I want to say. For those of you who have never been to my channel before, I use reversals all the time. I would not even know how to read tarot without reversals. That would just be the craziest thing for me. I don't consider reversals to be all negative. I know there's a lot of readers that will tell you that all reversals are negative meanings. I am not on board with that. Okay, so those of you who are new here and who haven't heard this before, please don't get stressed out at all the reversals that are showing up in your reading. Doesn't mean a darn thing. Okay, we look at the meaning of each card as we go through. All right, so let's go through. On Monday, with this Queen of Pentacles coming up in reverse, this just tells me, Pisces, that you've been trying to help somebody. You've been giving them either energy, effort, time, maybe even money to try to help them to get a leg up, to get moved forward, to get some momentum going. And what you're realizing on Monday is it's not working. All it's doing is it's making them more dependent on you. And so now you are cutting off that generosity, because the deal was it was supposed to help them move forward. If it's not going to do that, if it's just going to make them more dependent, well, that was never the goal. So now they're going to have to sink or swim. They're going to have to figure it out because you're cutting it off. Now, looking at Tuesday, what do we have here? Oh, yeah. Star card in reverse. So Tuesday, this just tells me you're not exactly sure what your mission is for today. Star card in reverse is not knowing, like, what am I trying to get accomplished today? And so I feel like some of you are going to be doing a lot of hurry up and wait type situations, like get somewhere to get something done and then you have to wait. And that may throw off your schedule a little bit. But definitely there's some kind of confusion about what can I get accomplished today? What do I want to get accomplished today? All right. Now let's move on to Wednesday. Wednesday, you have the Hanged Man, and the Hanged Man is just telling me that there's something that you are really considering and pondering. You were trying to make the best decision possible around this situation, but you want to make sure that it is a decision that works for everybody involved, not just for you. You're looking for the highest and best for everybody. And right now, at least on Wednesday, we see that you're not really ready to make that decision yet. You're still kind of processing all the information and chewing it up, especially in your subconscious too. And so once you feel comfortable with the answer, that's when you'll give your decision. Right now, I don't feel like you're comfortable with any answer. You're still doing the research. And then let's look at Thursday. Here we have the Emperor in reverse. There's something going on here where you feel like you're not in control of your life. That happens a lot when other people start thinking that it's okay to make decisions for us or on our behalf. You know, that's usually what brings out this lack of this sense of control being missing. The other thing that I get as I'm looking at this card is I don't think you're going to let that stand for very long at all. You're going to take your control back, taking your power back. And then Friday we have the Two of Pentacles, and the Two of Pentacles talks about sort of being maxed out, maximum bandwidth. Friday, you're reaching maximum bandwidth. And what happens when we reach maximum bandwidth and people still keep pushing responsibilities on us? Something has to give. And so we see something falling through the cracks here on Friday because you're just trying to deal with too much. You don't have that much time in a day to deal with all this stuff. So Pisces, I know you guys generally like to avoid conflict. And if that means you're going to say yes to doing something that you really don't want to do, you're the sign that is the most likely to actually do that. So it's going to be really good for you to start being aware of when you're actually saying, yes, I'll help with that. Yes, I'll do that, when you really would rather not, because that awareness is the first step. And then after that, start working on that self-esteem so that you don't have to be such a people pleaser and such a peacekeeper that you just do whatever people try to throw at you. That you start to have some more say-so over your life and what you're willing to participate in and not. All right. So that's what we have for the week, Pisces. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you all so much. And of course, I'll see some of you here for a reading this week, but the rest of you, I'll see back on the next video. Peace out.